Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about one of the worst movies of 2024, Harold and the Purple Crayon. This is the type of movie that is cashing in on an IP and just does not care about children, families, or anybody who bought a ticket for this movie. Columbia Pictures has decided to adapt Harold and the Purple Crayon, a picture book from 1955. It is one of the most iconic children's books. It is so wholesome, but Columbia decided, hey, we can make some money.
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
And let's make one of the most unoriginal, unfunny, uncreative, and one of the worst movies of the year so far. So let's just dive right into the negatives first, because this movie is pretty much all negatives here. And I have to start with the CGI, because it is atrocious. Every single time there's CGI used in this movie, you can clearly tell it looks so bad, and the creative design with the use of CGI looks so poorly done that it looks like that they are not interacting with these specific things, especially when these characters are eating ice cream and Zachary Levi is clearly not eating the ice cream at all. You can clearly tell that he's not even holding anything in his hand. I can't believe that Columbia Pictures would put this out with a $40 million budget behind it. I don't understand it. One of the biggest issues with this movie is that it's not funny. I saw this on a Friday morning show with a ton of kids and adults and families in there, and no one laughed. Maybe like one or two chuckles. It is so painfully dull and cringe and stupid that it feels like it was supposed to be made in 2010s, which is funny because it was supposed to be a movie from the 2010s, and it had so many issues with this movie being made. It just got randomly redeveloped in the 2020s, and they just pooped this movie out. One of the other issues I have with this movie is the fact that this movie should have been animated. There are so many cool and creative ideas that this movie could have explored, and when you have Sony Pictures Animation, who has done some really good animated films, especially like the Spider-Verse movies, Cloudy Chance of Meatballs, they could have made a pretty fun and entertaining movie, but they decided to make a 2000s, 2010s stupid live-action family movie that is just so cringe and diabolically terrible that I don't think anybody could really enjoy this movie unless you want a movie that is so safe and offers no stakes, and it just feels like a nice little movie that you could take the whole family to, and they're not actually going to learn anything from it. Like, there's nothing to gain from this movie just besides the fact that you just go to the movies, have some snacks, watch some stupid movie, and you leave, and no one talks about it ever again. This film also does not care about the original source material of the original picture book, as it doesn't even try to be as creative and fun and wholesome, which isn't surprising knowing Sony Pictures' record of many of the films that they have adapted from original source material. Maybe you think they put more effort into this because it is a sequel to that book, and because this movie tries to be meta like the Barbie movie from last year, but don't actually establish a world of Harold Purple Crayon and just have like a 3 to 4 minute animation scene where it's just completely pointless. Unlike Barbie, that actually sets up the rules and the social economics and everything that happens in the Barbie world. But with Harold Purple Crayon, they don't care about any of that. The writers just picked and choose what Harold would know from his world and what would be adapted into the real world, and it happens constantly throughout this movie that is just so lazy. The acting in this movie is also hit or miss here. Zachary Levi is pretty good in this role, but that's probably because he's really good as a character of Shazam. And if you know anything about Shazam, is that he's basically a man-child, so he does that in this movie as well. Basically plays Shazam, and there you go. Lil Rel Howery is also in this movie, and he's fine. Zooey Deschanel was really bad in this movie, as it just felt like she didn't want to be in this movie. And in the marketing for this film, she also doesn't put a lot of effort into it. I actually think Zooey Deschanel is a decent actress, but there's just nothing here. And also, the kid in this movie. He is so bad, and I'm not going to blame him because it is clearly up to the director, Carlos Saldana, who has made decent movies like Rio and Ferdinand and, well, Rio 2, which wasn't great. So it is up to him to get this performance out, but when the main kid in this movie just does this the whole film, Like, the entire movie. I know he's trying. I'm not gonna give him crap, but he was really bad in this movie, and the direction here is the main fault of the film, and that just goes without saying for the rest of the movie. The direction in this movie just doesn't feel like it cares. It's a box of Crayola crayons. Hey, there's another product placement. Oh, hey, there's a Sony phone. That's exactly what Sony likes to do with their movies like The Smurfs and some of their other really awful movies like the Emoji Movie as well. I also wanted to mention that the filmmaking this movie is terrible. The shots of this movie are awful. It is overly lit. It really looks like they just got an iPhone camera and they just called it a day. The music is straight out of your typical 2000s, 2010s family movies. The final battle of this movie is set during nighttime, which is something that Columbia Pictures likes to do. And one of the biggest reasons why is because they can hide the bad visual effects, because there's going to be so many visual effects in this one big scene, which was so pointless and stupid, like the main villain in this movie, played by Jermaine Clement, who is really trying. I think he's a really good actor. He's been nominated for a ton of Emmys, but he does nothing in this movie. His character is so stupid. So overall, guys, Harold Purple Crayon is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. It is an uninspired, uncreative cash cow that doesn't give a crap about you, just the money that they ripped right out of your pocket, and it doesn't feel like anybody in this movie actually cares about it. Maybe Zachary Levi for the paycheck, but other than that, this is one of those movies you should definitely not go out and watch. And when it hits Netflix in a couple months, because Sony has a deal with Netflix to put some of their movies on their streaming service for their first look, don't even bother watching it. It's not even worth checking out. I am giving Harold and the Purple Crayon a 3 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen this movie? And let me know all of your spoiler-free thoughts. I can't wait to hear all about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like as you always should, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in a new video. I will see you all at the movies.